unsurprisingly, I will not going to do your task again. I really don't care about moving left. I have much more fun things to show you. For example, just for a while I will show you a version without such a boolean variable. Instead I will have other type of variable, and I'm going to use a number variable, and I'll call it speed moving right. Strangely, I will not only need speed moving right, but also speed moving left, and this is kind of surprising because we already did games like Pong in which we needed only one variable for both left and right, and it could be negative or a positive value, meaning should we increase or decrease our rightness, our x. Instead, when I have speed moving right and speed moving left, a value that is going to be really common is going to be 0. So speed moving right is going to be 0 initially, but on key down I will make it, for example, 10 or something smaller like 5, and on key up, if the released key is exactly the 39th key, the right arrow, then speed moving right should come back to 0, and I will use this new number variable without any ifs. Is this interesting? How would I use such a value? Well, I would directly increase my x with this value. If I had speed moving left, I will need to decrease my x, and you can actually use only one such variable, perhaps. There are going to be some interesting bugs in case the player is a throw and he is pressing simultaneously both left and right. So one of your tasks for homework is going to be make version of the game with number variable with only one number variable, speed moving right, or it can also be exchange or delta Higgs or whatever you like, so that you understand that such a variable shows the speed in which our x is changing. So my version of the game now has only speed moving right, but we are not able to move left, so I haven't completed this task from your homework. You still need to implement moving left in such a crazy version. Let's see how this is working. Well, I'm stopped now, but I'm going to start holding the right arrow key, and I'm moving right just like I wanted. I will now press it few times. I'm really happy because as long as I'm holding the key, the player is moving right, so this is wonderful, and it's a little bit shorter. We now don't need this if. Do you like this? Well, it's the first smallest optimization to our code that we can implement. It really made our code a little bit shorter. We now don't need this if, but I actually don't like this version, and there is something even better that we can do, and it will actually need one more new knowledge for you. So I want to show you a way to not have such an if and not have such an if, and we will only need this if. Well, actually everything with this if is fine, and it doesn't need anything like this or like this or this, except for this condition that requires the variable is right pressed currently. If you want to make a game in which a lot of players press a lot of keys, you will need to copy and paste a lot of ifs like this, especially like this, or I don't know. You will need either a boolean variable or a number variable, and I'm going to show you a solution with such an if. So we will need a lot of boolean variables. We are not going to use our improvement with a number variable for the speed moving, right? So how can we have such an if that cares whether a specific key on the keyboard is currently pressed without all those boring ifs? We will need two ifs for each key that is used in our game. Well, because we are using code.zip, we can use some tricks that are actually written and implemented in start.html, and I have already shown you a little bit of the code there, and when you are ready you can understand even more code from start.html. I'm not going to show you now anything new, I'm just telling you that there is something that allows us, when we are coding something created from code.zip, to use not one, but actually hundreds of variables, all starting like this: is key pressed, and then all of those variables have a new kind of symbol for us. They have broken brackets. This is the way I code those symbols. You can press them by a key near the shift and the enter, and actually this is the key that we use for curly brackets, just that in order for us to have curly brackets we need to also hold the shift key, and when I need broken brackets or square brackets we don't need to press the shift key. So if you want to use one of those variables that will tell us is any of the keys pressed, you need square brackets, and in them we're going to write a number, and luckily this is exactly the number that we can use here in key down and key up for this key variable. So in this case I will need 39 here, and let's see if this is working or if our new knowledge broken everything. Well, you can see that now I'm faster. That's because in our old if the speed that we were adding was 10, and in our temporary version with number variable the speed that I was giving was 5. Well, this is the place that we can write whatever speed we want, like 3 or 33. can test with everything, and I hope it is going to work. So now that I told you this, you of course need to write it on your sheet of paper with all our knowledge. And the more important task is now really simple. You can do it with all our previous versions, but I want you to do it with the best version that we now learned to. I want you to implement your self movement to the left, both with such a number variable as speed moving left and right, and with our best solution of all those special variables that are ready for us is key pressed. Write all of this, and in the next video we are going to start the violence. We are going to make the player able to shoot. Yay!